Welcome, everyone.
Hello.
Welcome, and thanks for joining Walmart Benefits 101. This is a live Q&A. We're going to start the session by addressing a few topics that have come up often. Maria?
Nice. So first, I just definitely want to be clear. So we're all education coaches. My name is Maria.
Emily.
I'm Dana.
Yeah. And so if you have any questions, make sure you use the chat function on your screen to ask them, and just check that your computer is muted, just in case. And yeah, so without further ado, let's get started. So from all of you, we've kind of been hearing that maybe there's a little bit of understanding about how the benefit works. So we want to clear that up and make it as crystal clear as possible. So just to begin, Walmart has provided this awesome benefit that provides tuition assistance for a select specific programs that are all designed for working adults. And that means that they are online programs. And we'll get into the specifics of the program in a little bit, but what you need to know is that Walmart's covering the costs of the tuition in this program, and you'll be responsible for the equivalent of $1 a day. And through the whole program, literally from the application until you graduate, you will have access to free coaching and advising. So that begins with us. And definitely throughout every single part of the process, you have people on your side. So just know that for sure. Would you guys want to talk about maybe the way, like when I was in college, it was really hard for me to get books when I was going to school. So how does that work in the benefit with this?
So these programs are largely online. So do you need books? Sometimes you do. If a book is required, which means it shows on the syllabus for your class, you need to buy it. But you get reimbursed. So the Walmart benefit will cover the cost of all of your books as well, which is awesome because it can add up.
And to access this benefit, all you have to have is to have worked at Walmart for 90 days, full-time or part-time, and be in active status. So if you're on a leave of absence, you won't be eligible for the benefit until that's over and you're back actively working at Walmart.
Another great benefit is that this can also help any family members, any direct family members who are interested in earning their GED or a high school diploma. They will have access through that benefit through you. The way that you help your family member access this benefit is you will need to log into your account. So go through Walmart One and go to your education benefits. And then you'll be able to sign into the Guild platform, which will then show you a nice dashboard where you'll have many options, but there will be specifically one box that says refer, and that's where you'll put their email address. That way we can help them directly when it comes to understanding their educational needs and help them on their journey.
Especially for high school.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. So especially for, so say you've worked for Walmart for a long time, you've done some academy trainings, isn't there a possibility for credit for that maybe?
Yes, it's very exciting. So for all those who have been able to complete academies training for department manager, assistant store manager, you'll be able to get some college credits after July 1st of this year to apply towards your degree at Brandman or Bellevue University. It's pretty exciting because that means your professional experience will also help you with your educational goals. And we will definitely share out more information as this becomes active in the summer.
Nice. So in order to apply, we have to get our transcripts, right? So in the application, they will ask for your unofficial transcript. Emily, I think maybe you can speak to like the difference between unofficial and official.
Yeah. So when you think of these, transcripts are a record of your academic history. That's what a transcript itself is. Now, there's an unofficial copy of your transcript. That's going to be for your academic record. For those of you who are looking for your high school unofficial transcript, usually you'll get that after you graduate, or you can contact the school directly if maybe you didn't finish high school all the way. They will have a record of that. The best place first to start is the school directly. Let's say the school is no longer around or they don't have access to your record. The next step for a high school transcript is then to go to your school district. If that's still not working out, the next step would then be go to that state's Board of Education, because there's usually always a record for your education, whether you attended for a year or you graduated. And it's something you are going to be required to submit to be able to continue your education, whether it's with a college program through us, or other schools will also require this if you're looking to go into a vocational school. So that's an unofficial copy of your transcript, is a record for yourself, and that is what you're going to need to upload to your application to start the process and make sure you meet the admissions requirements. The other one is going to be your official transcript. This is a record from one institution to another, or one school to another. The purpose of this is to validate that the unofficial is correct, that it was never tampered with. It's just a procedure that every school goes through. There's usually a fee associated. Sometimes schools will waive it, but usually I've noticed for the most part between $5 to $15 is what I see. It could be more, it could be less. Every school is different. But your official transcript will be required for you to continue your application, and your education coach can help you understand when that needs to be sent and to who. So don't worry, you won't be alone on that. When it comes to ordering an official transcript, same thing for high school. You want to go to the school directly first, then the school district and Board of Education if you need to. For those who are trying to get college transcripts, there's a couple ways that you can do it. The main way is, again, going to the school directly at first. Usually at this point in time, I feel like most schools have an online process, but not all of them. But you're able to usually order it through the school directly, or if they work with a third party, they'll help guide you through what you need to do. And that way you make sure that an official transcript is sent from one school to another. It could be electronic or it could be by mail.
Okay.
Yeah.
A couple of points that are important. One is that as a former student, in any school that you've attended, you have a right to your transcript. So that's a document that exists. They don't expire. And even if it's a long time ago that you were in high school or that you took a college class somewhere, it's important that when you are filling out the application that you disclose your experience at all of the schools you've attended, and that you get those transcripts. So if you are in communication with a school, just know that this is a document you have a right to see. Okay, that's really important.
Definitely. And just to make I know this is a lot of information at once, to make some of that easier to remember, I tell my students, unofficial means you can see it. You can read it yourself. Official means you probably won't see it because it's sent directly from your previous school to the school that you want to go to. And that's as easy as that. So the unofficial for Guild, official to the school.
Foreign credentials? You want to touch on it?
Just an important note for students who have ever had an education outside of the United States, that includes Canada, UK, really any country outside of the United States, there are some additional steps you'll need to take through the application process. So I do recommend that you contact a coach, and you can do that once you're logged into your account. At the very top of the screen, there'll be a button that says contact a coach. It'll pop up often enough, but that'll be important just to make sure that we guide you in the right process, because every school has different requirements for students who have foreign credentials. That means if you graduated high school outside of the United States, if you took some college classes outside of the US, or earned a degree, whether it's an associate's, bachelor's, or master's, please let us know so we can make sure you have a smooth transition.
Okay, for sure.
Okay. Those are some initial basics, questions that we've gotten. A few more things that have come up, and that is a question over that you have an interest in a program that is not offered. That can happen. So Walmart provides very specific programs that they chose carefully. They selected these programs with the intention of helping you in general, but also as a way for an associate to have a career path inside Walmart. So the intention was twofold. It was to offer an educational benefit, and it was also to help you rise within Walmart if that's your desire. There are programs in the Guild catalog that aren't a part of the Walmart financial support, but you still have access to those. So if you find something you're interested in, psychology is an example of that. So is nursing. So if you find something you're interested in the catalog, you can apply. You would get a discount through us, through Guild Education. And that includes things like the application fee is waived. You would also get coaching from us and other coaches that exist within Guild Education. That's always free. The tuition rates are usually discounted. And then again, there's what we talked about earlier, and that's credit for training, which is something that applies to people who have had the opportunity to go to the academy, and that will be finalized in the summer.
And to add to that, there is one other option for those who may not have completed Academy's training but have extensive professional experience. It's called a prior learning assessment that is available at our partners, Brandman and Bellevue University. Also Wilmington for those who are interested in a program there and want to pay out of pocket or use financial aid for that program. But you're able to build a portfolio to ask for college credits for your work experience. It's a process that you really won't deal with until you're in a school and accepted, but just know that is an opportunity for you.
Yeah, so I think within the benefits, there's programs offered from general education associates, which would be a really good way to learn your prerequisites, so that if you don't know exactly what you want to do, that's perfectly fine, no pressure. It gives you a chance to learn what you like to learn. Mm-hmm. And so I think that's a good option if maybe you're not totally sure that you want to have a business bachelor's degree or study business, or maybe it's a good idea if you know you want to study something totally different than business for sure, but earn those 2 years first, or that associate's degree in those 2 years from Brandman to get those prerequisite classes. So that's an awesome option. Then, as you probably know from online, there's also the business management and leadership degree from Bellevue, supply chain, transportation, and logistics, some options from the University of Florida, and a business administration degree from Brandman. Did I miss anything?
We also offer a high school completion program through Penn Foster. Again, that's the one that's available to you and your direct family members. And that the alternative to that is there is a GED reimbursement program, but that's actually handled by your store's personnel if that's what you would rather pursue. The program we offer is a high school diploma, and this is for adults over 18. So it's just something to keep in mind. You can still earn a high school diploma, even there's no age requirement, which I know is a big question with a lot of students. And lastly, or actually 2 more programs. We offer Rosetta Stone for those looking to learn languages. I believe there's over 15 options. For English speakers, if you know someone at work that their English is something they want to improve, this is a great opportunity, so please spread the word. Or if you want, I have a lot of employees who want to learn Spanish or Arabic. This is a great program that you can use as well for your own professional development. And lastly is our College Start program. So for those of you who are thinking, do I want to go to college? Do I want to try online? You're not sure, and you've never had any experience in college, this is a great pathway for you. You'll be taking online classes. You'll have support through us here at Guild. You'll be earning college credit that can be applied towards Bellevue and Brandman University. And it's just a great way for you to commit to a shorter term program, because it'll be self-paced to help you determine, is this what I want to do, before you commit to a 2-year or so associate's program for 4 years or more for a bachelor's program. So a great opportunity for those of you who are on the fence. That would be the place that we recommend to start first.
And just to recap a little bit, going backwards for people who maybe are interested and are here for this live Q&A, but are unclear about the options. So starting from sort of the beginning, there is a high school completion program that is paid 100%. So that's fabulous. There is also the language program through Rosetta Stone that is free as well to any Walmart employee who can access Walmart One. So spread the word. The college programs start with College Start that Emily just described. Then there's the associate's degree, which is the equivalent of a 2-year degree, and a number of bachelor's degrees, most of them business, one supply chain and logistics. Those are the options that are part of the Walmart benefit, where they offer funding and you have a contribution. We didn't talk about the contribution yet.
The equivalent of $1 a day? Yeah, so you could think of it like you are responsible for paying up to $360 a year, and that's divided per term. So you can think of the equivalent of that. So divided per term, terms are usually 8 weeks to 12 weeks, depending on the school. Yeah, does that address that?
Yeah, so it's very, very affordable. But you want to talk about budgeting a little?
Yeah, the way that dollar day equivalent contribution will be, it will be something that you, if you get accepted into a program, yay, then the next step is getting ready to start classes. You will work with us here at Guild. After you get accepted, you'll be assigned a student success advisor. They're going to be your support system throughout the program from the very beginning all the way through graduation. And during that point in time when you're getting ready to start classes, they're going to help walk you through how that assessed fee will be, your contribution. It's different at each university, but you'll actually pay the university directly, and we'll help you through that process.
For sure. And if any of this feels like, I don't know which program I want, I don't know, this is a lot of information, you can feel free to for sure press the contact a coach button, because that's what our jobs are. We're here to help you navigate this and make this as seamless as possible and help remove these barriers for you.
Mm-hmm. So what happens if you click contact a coach, which Emily described earlier, you will log in, there's a password, and if you haven't set up an account yet, when you go through Walmart One to investigate the benefit, you'll be able to sign up. And when you get into where the catalog is and the listings are, there is a contact a coach button in various places, and sometimes it pops up at you. So you click that, and then you write your question. It sends us a note, and we call you.
For sure. So you have us as resources for sure, like I said, from application to graduation, but also what I would encourage a lot of you to do is reach out to your coworkers at work and see who else maybe is already doing this or who wants to do it, because I think having people who you can study in the break room with and make this feel like it's your community, just like you would if you were going to on-campus school, will make it feel a lot more just not so stressful. And even if, for example, if your family is eligible for any of the benefits, or if your kids are in school, making that time to do your homework together, I think that makes it a lot just nicer. And or baseball practice, things like that, that there's time for you to set aside for yourself, but still be engaged in your community related to school.
Mm-hmm. And I think that's an important aspect that Maria touched on, is the sense of community in an online program. Many students fear that that doesn't exist, but it really does. We have such amazing students who want to connect with each other, learn from each other, share experience with each other. So through your program itself, you will do that in class when you're doing discussion posts. You'll still have group assignments, even on online classes. So just keep that in mind. You will be able to connect with other students as well as your professor. You will have resources on campus. You are a university student, so most schools will offer resources such as tutoring center, writing center support. There's also career services for those of you who are thinking about next steps. What was the last one I was thinking of? Tutoring, writing center,
They also have advising, like I know Brandman, for example, has, I believe it's 150 to 1 advising ratios. So that's like really, really good, especially compared to what a lot of on-campus schools even have, where they have thousands of advisees. And even for their online programs, this really surprised me, they have a 30 to 1 faculty to student ratio, or sorry, I said that backwards.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
1 is the faculty, 30 is the student.
It's really good.
But anyway, so like before I really learned about this, I figured, oh, well, it's online, that could be like limitless, but actually it is capped, so that's their responsibility to be communicating with their students online. So I think that's really important. And then also that you have the chance to network with people who you could have maybe never ever met in your community if you were to go to school on campus through an online community of schools.
I would say another cool feature, I'm actually a Guild student myself, so I've been able to use a lot of these resources, and it's been great, especially on the Facebook group. There's a lot of support there. Students really help each other and motivate each other. I see students talking about their hard days, like, I had to work 3 12-hour shifts, my kid was sick, my dog was sick, my dog also ate my homework. Things happen, life happens, and sometimes it's hard not being able to talk to someone about it. And so if you want to participate, there are groups on Facebook that some students have created, or Guild has also just started some to get things started, but it's just a great support system when you're having hard days, but also celebrate your successes, ask questions. Just know that that support will exist there. So it's not just you on your own with your education. You'll have the support of your loved ones, family member, friends. I always tell my students, once you start, share the news. Like, it's exciting to go back to school. It's a big deal. Like, Walmart's helping you with the cost, but you are investing a lot of time and energy into this, and you should be proud of it. And by sharing that news with others are going to want to support you. So that's my little tidbit of advice as a student currently.
Something that comes up that is a topic we want to cover, but I think a lot of people feel nervous about is how do you fit school in? And when you're a working adult. So you may work part-time, you may work full-time, and it's hard to be a student. That is one reason we focus largely on online. So not only is it online, so you can have your computer and do it wherever, but online programs are designed largely, the ones that we work with, the universities do this to support working adults. So the programs are designed for you. They're made to weave in and fit into your schedule and be flexible in that way. There are parameters that make you have a deadline at a certain time or meet with students at another time, but for the most part, you can just budget your time. We know that at Walmart, schedules vary. They can change from week to week. You can work overnight. That's hard. And these are designed to be able to fit into your lifestyle. And that's another reason why we offer so much support. The schools have support, and we're the coaches, and there are other coaches at Guild that are here to help you.
What I often coach a lot of my students on is, so when we're talking about the application process, you still have like 2 months or a couple months before you're starting school, usually. So in that time, see if you can find a couple hours and just like make time for a chore or a workout or like a cooking, I don't know, something. Like whatever's your style. I'm not gonna put my style on you, but then when you have that, like when I was getting ready for school, I noticed on Sundays I have a lot of free time then, and I would fill that with like things that maybe didn't matter so much, but I could remove them so that when school started, I could fill that time.
And homework.
That's what I meant. Yes.
And kind of going off that, another way to kind of help you balance work and school, because it's definitely something I struggled with when I started, is finding those little pockets of time. It may not always be big chunks of time, but I have like try to find ways, how can I use my lunch to maybe get my reading done or do my discussion posts, so that way it's not so overwhelming on the weekends, or I don't leave everything for one day. These classes, like Dana mentioned, are online classes, and most of them are also mobile friendly. So every once in a while, it's not ideal, but I will use my phone to get some reading done or maybe do a discussion post, because I want to make sure I'm actively participating and learning in class. So it's a great aspect. I feel like online education has really advanced to help be as supportive and inclusive of technology as possible. So really just find those little pockets of time when you can. And Maria mentioned this earlier, but having someone else who's either going to school or understands what it's like to be in school really helps you just kind of stay on track, because someone else cares or someone else is going through it with you, and just talking about it and verbalizing it really helps you stay focused.
And accountable. I see you guys do it here. Like they're all in the same program. They're like, did you do your homework yet? Go ahead.
There's something I thought of, and that's that if you have researched the options, you may notice there are some universities that you might not recognize. You might not know their name. These are the online universities that are created for working adults that I was mentioning. And an important thing for you to know is that at Guild Education, we care about the quality of these schools. So we check that they are accredited, and that we check other things that tell us they care about students and they want you to be supported as well. And you can do your own research about these schools, but I wanted to mention that it's an important criteria.
I was wondering, how do you feel about us talking a little bit more in depth about the programs offered through Walmart? Because we talked a little about College Start, but maybe we can delve in a little deeper on the other programs.
Okay, sure. So, like with, which would be best to talk about first? General education?
I think we have a question.
Oh, we have a question.
Yeah, we actually have had a number of questions come through.
Okay.
So let's maybe just jump into those. People do have a lot of questions about the structure of an online class. First one is the online class live, or is it something that you can be done at any hour that you have free to complete on your own time?
So like for Brandman, for example, a lot of their assignments are due on Sunday, and you won't be required to log in and like attend a certain class on a Tuesday. I'm just giving an example. There's no scheduled class time, but you have to have your work done by the end of the week.
And so you may see this online, but it's actually called asynchronous online classes. So this means it's on your schedule. So when you begin a class, you will be given a syllabus. So you'll know in that term what you need to complete to be successful. So it's a great way for you to start managing early on. Okay, this week I have finals. Maybe I should make sure I'm home for that weekend, or try to start thinking ahead of time, but understand what kind of workload you have in class. I forgot my other point.
It'll come back to you.
Yeah,
It'll come back to you.
Yeah.
Is there ever an instance where you have a requirement to be on the computer at a specific time? Is there?
That's a good point. So for all the programs offered through Walmart, Rosetta Stone, that's on your own pace. It's you work through it as you go, so you can log in whenever. Again, I believe it's also mobile friendly, but it's your access. It's you go at your own pace and finish as you'd like. So you can go really quickly, or you can take your time. The high school completion program, the same thing. You log in and get your work done. You'll work with your coaches here to set up time management. Like my goal is to finish so many classes in this amount of time, and they'll help you with that. Same thing with our College Start program. You work through one class at a time. Once you complete that, you move forward. One thing I do want to stress with these programs, it's great that it allows for the flexibility, but it's also very important to get good grades. Your GPA matters if you're trying to apply to a school in the future. So something to keep in mind as you're going through these programs, they are self-paced. You can move through it quickly, but really focus on getting a good grade. And then when it comes to our university programs at Brandman, Bellevue, and University of Florida, they're also asynchronous. So you will have assignments due at specific dates. You will know that at the beginning of the term through your syllabus. So it's up to you when you get it done. That students say they wake up at 3 in the morning to do their homework because that's when they have time, but they commit to that. I can't do that, but they have figured out how to do that. I have other students who will work on their days off on their schoolwork because they know, okay, on Sunday I have my assignments due, or maybe a discussion post is due every Thursday. So you just have to get it done by the deadline. You don't have to log in at a certain time to complete anything. Now, of course, there's many of classes through these programs. If for some reason there's a special event, because I know sometimes professors like to bring in speakers or things like that, you will know at the very beginning if something like that will happen, because the expectation that our students have through online asynchronous programs is that's on your own schedule. If anything differs from that, your professor will let you know ahead of time.
And I can think of one instance where you might have a schedule and thing, and that would be you scheduling time yourself with perhaps other people at Walmart who are students too, and you want to study together or do something like that.
Or if you make an appointment on your own fruition to speak with your advisor or coach
or professor
to help you,
or professor,
because it's productive and you chose that time.
Yeah.
We're also getting a number of questions from people who already have a little bit of college experience. So can you guys talk about how credits might transfer, and can you also talk a little bit about options for people who might be looking for postgrad or master's programs?
So if you have
transfer
if you have less than 12 college credits, you'll start with College Start. If you have more than 12 credits, you can apply to any of the bachelor's programs. The way it will work is you do have to give those unofficial and official transcripts to get a credit evaluation. So what that means is we don't work for these universities, so they will do a formal credit evaluation once they have all of your information, and they will decide what you can or cannot get credit for, and you will have that information in front of you before you make a decision to enroll in classes. So for some of you, it might be worth it to go through that process to have all the information in front of you.
And a little homework you can do on your own, and your coach can help you with this, is get a copy of your own transcript, especially if you have a lot of credits from prior college, and look at the curriculum for the program that you're interested in. So what the basic process is looking and comparing course by course to see if there's a duplication or an equivalent, and your grade does matter. So they look at, is it equivalent, and is your grade high enough, and the institution makes a decision on whether or not to offer you credit. You can look yourself and see at least, do I think my classes are a good match? And it'll give you an idea. Nothing you could ever guarantee.
And really the best way to find out what will transfer over is to complete an application.
Mhm.
So start your application, upload all your documents, submit it. The first step will be for us to verify that you meet the admissions requirements, because if you have previous college credits, we do need to consider your cumulative GPA and the total number of credits you were earned.
Mhm.
That's going to matter first to make sure, do you meet those initial admissions requirements? If you do, then you move forward with your application and working with the university to finalize your application process. They are, again, going to be the ones to determine what transfers over. It is different for every student, even if you went to the same school. Like Dana mentioned, the grade you earned is important, the type of class it was is important, how long ago was important. There's so many factors that we really can't, and we don't want to give you a number that may be incorrect. So the best way to find out is to submit an application so that process can be started. And like Maria said again, you'll be able to make a decision if you want to move forward or not once you get that information.
And then the other question was about master's programs. So
Mhm.
at this time, master's programs are not part of the $1 a day benefit, the Walmart Associate Contribution benefit. There are master's degrees that are available in our network, such as like Emily's enrolled in one. But at this time, no,
But we talked about this earlier. If that's something that's important to you and it's immediate, you can access that outside of the Walmart Associate Contribution scenario, where you would pay yourself, you would apply through us, and you would get the discounts, the coaching, and the other benefits we mentioned earlier.
exactly.
And just to name a few master's programs available, they are online, so please go to our catalog to check to see if something there interests you. But we have a Master's of Business Administration, Master's in Public Administration.
There's some around healthcare.
Mhm.
Mhm.
I believe cybersecurity has one as well. There's over 30 as last time I checked.
Yeah.
Another question related to credits. Can you talk a little bit, is there any minimum needed for each semester that students are taking, or can they sort of choose how many classes they want to take in each semester?
No minimum. Choose to take as many as you can, as you want.
Yeah.
as you
Or
can
as
handle.
little as
Or
you want.
go slow,
Yeah.
which we also support.
Yeah, again, this goes back to how much can you handle. Most of our online university or programs recommend 10 to 15 hours a week per class. It could be more, it could be less. Every student is different, but as you get started, kind of keep that number in mind as you're planning. How much can I actually take on at a time? So if you're you know you've got this, you have experience, you're ready to get going, and you feel comfortable, you'll have a coach to help you when you sign up for classes, so you can talk through it with them as well. But you can take as many as you want each semester. Or I know a lot of students are very nervous about going online, so you can just take one if that's what you feel comfortable with. And what I always recommend is start out low, take one or two, make sure you're doing well, you feel good about everything, and then the next term add more if you feel comfortable.
A lot of people are asking, you touched a little bit on the $1 a day program. Can you share some tips that you have about making sure that people are putting enough aside so they don't get into any financial trouble with the $1 a day and are budgeting correctly for that?
I can. So if you think about what does it mean? It's $1 a day. That is the Walmart Associate Contribution. So it's easy math. The most you will pay is $365 every year. So averaging out per month, it's $30 to $31 a month. So you all know your own budgets. If you can make sure that you're putting aside $1 a day or $32 a month to be able to pay that contribution bill when it becomes due, and the payment times vary depending on what school you're in. So and that's something you can, if you want to, talk about with your coach, like, okay, I want to save to make sure I have enough money to pay this.
I think you said it well.
Awesome. You talked a little bit about family members also receiving the benefit earlier. Can you please help define who direct family members are and who specifically can receive the family benefit?
So typically it's dependent kind of situations, like if you live in the same home, and that would be for high school completion. Am I missing anything?
Yeah, there is I don't think we have access to it right now, but there is more specific terms. But I would say the best thing would be to contact a coach just to help, so we can help verify if your family member is eligible or not.
Because the situations can be varied.
But I know, like, for example, like domestic partners is incled in that. That's the only example I can think of right now. Yeah.
If you're married.
Yeah. But if you want to, if there's a specific situation, like, circumstance, contact a coach and we'll.
And I know we did say it, but just to clarify, so for the university, the college programs, including College Start, family members are not eligible for those.
Or
Unless
Rosetta
they
Stone.
Or Rosetta Stone.
Apply to Walmart.
Unless they work at Walmart for 90 days. Yeah.
What about technology? So we're thinking about budgeting, we're thinking about going back to school. What type of technology might we need to make sure that we're attending school and being successful?
So I would say choose the most basic laptop, ideally with a webcam, because some of the programs do have a webcam proctor. So, in school, they watch you take the test, make sure you're not cheating. So there's like a software, right, that they use to make sure that there's no movements in the room. So I'd say the most, don't spend way too much money on a computer, get the most basic level computer that does have a webcam. And also, if you go to everyoneon.org/guild, you can see if there's any offers for low-cost computers and internet in your area. And who knows, there might be. I can't guarantee it, but definitely check it out. everyoneon.org/guild. I send that to a lot of my students, and for some of them, it helps them do like monthly payments for a computer
and Wi-Fi. Because Wi-Fi is also needed.
Yes.
What about leaves of absence? We haven't really talked about that yet. So if someone takes a leave of absence, either before or after they've been registered and are taking classes, how does that affect whether or not they can take classes and take advantage of this benefit?
Okay. So we, I don't remember if we covered this. So just eligibility, I'll reiterate it. If you are a regular, full, or part-time Walmart associate and you have been working for over 90 days, you're eligible. The only exception to that, I think, is Rosetta Stone may have a wider eligibility. So you're eligible, you're interested, you apply, and you're in a program. Two things would change your eligibility. One is that you go on a leave of absence. The other is that you left Walmart for whatever reason, got a different job. In those instances, if you're in the middle of a class or a term, you can finish. But after that, if you wanted to continue, you would need to self-pay. There's no bad consequence. You do not have to pay anything back.
And then once you come back from a leave of absence, just to kind of wrap that around, you have access to your benefits again.
Yeah, it's not like you're starting over.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. You don't have to do 90 days again. It's fresh.
And if sometimes you are going to be taking a leave of absence. I know I had a student recently who was going to have a surgery that she knew about, and she knew she was going on a leave of absence. Sometimes you don't know that you're going on one, and it just happens, and life happens sometimes. But what I would say through this process, if anything like that happens, make sure to just let your coach know so they know what's going on, so that way they can help you through the process and keep you up to date with information they have, and you can keep them up to date with information you have about what's going on.
Yeah, we're here, and your student success advisor, if should you enroll, are here to advocate for you. So we're very much, we're kind of the messenger.
What about communicating with managers? We've gotten a few questions around this topic. How should employees be talking to their manager to let them know that they're going back to school, or if they're wanting a little bit of advice about balancing time, how should they talk to their manager about some of those things?
I would approach it, the way I would any conversation, to any colleague or anybody like that. I'm thinking of going back to school. How do you think of this? Do you think this would be possible for me? Given, maybe can we talk about my work schedule?
Well, I actually think it's, I think a general assumption that managers are there to support you as well as you are there to be managed by them. A lot of people want others to flourish and succeed. So start the conversation thinking that my manager can help me figure this out, because this is a growth opportunity and it's a benefit that Walmart is offering. So ask for time to talk to your manager. Say, I want to talk to you about my own professional development. That's a good word to use, because that's what this is. Remember, we said that Walmart chose these intentionally to help have a career path inside Walmart. Have some time to sit down. It doesn't have to be long. Just say, I'm thinking about going back to school. I'm very excited about this benefit. I'm going to need your help. And then have a conversation.
Well said.
Yep.
Perfect.
A lot of people we're talking about talking to the schools, talking to coaches, talking to managers. I know you guys have mentioned this at the beginning of the webinar, but just to reiterate one more time, can you tell us, what do the coaches do? What should they be coming to you guys about? What can they ask a coach?
Great question.
Mhm.
So I think if you aren't sure which program to apply for or having questions about the application, really specific circumstances about your transcripts that maybe are preventing you, maybe we can come up with a solution together. Anything about the application process for sure, setting goals and deadlines so that you do that application in time, and making sure that you feel good about getting started, time management, and what else am I
Yeah,
missing?
I
What
would
else
say
do I do?
for a lot of students, they're like, well, I can do the application. It's online, and that's great. You can do that on your own. I have a lot of students who call in because they're not sure what program to do. For example, the difference between a bachelor's of business administration versus a bachelor's of science in business management and leadership, or bachelor's of science of supply chain and transportation and logistics management. I got it right.
So many words.
Oh, a lot of words. And then, of course, the bachelor's of Science of Business Administration at U of F. They are all business sounding. So what's the difference? I get it. It's very confusing. And I always recommend for students to first start off looking at the curriculum. What classes are you going to have to take in each one? I have many students come to me who are like, oh, I want to do the business management class because it's going to have a lot of math in it. That program is actually more focused on people management skills and leadership development skills. So you will have some math, but it's going to be more focused on like organizational leadership and things like that. Whereas the Bachelor's of Business Administration is a program for those who want general background in business. They want to learn a little bit of everything. And it actually tends to be a lot more math focused. That's a lot of students are like, what has the least amount of math? And that's something we can help you with by looking at the program, specifically the classes together. If you want to kind of decipher like, well, what does this mean? Or what will this require of me? So it's not just about the application process. Even before that, we can help you with the decision if you really are unsure, because we want to make sure you start off with a program that's going to really set you up for success.
And just to reiterate that, I think what I meant to say was that really our job is to set you up for success. So
Yeah.
when I talk to a student, I never want to put you in a program that's going to make you feel uncomfortable, that's going to make you feel like you're struggling. I want to put you in a program, or help you put yourself in a program that's going to make you feel like, hey, I can do this, and going to help you the most toward your goals. So really my goal is to help you toward your goals.
And I would also say, so anything that we've covered today, we've gone over a lot. If you have questions, reach out.
For sure.
Yeah.
So we'll have this be the last question then. You guys have given a lot of good information. What's the next step? How do people get started?
You can start an application.
Mhm.
Yeah, so if you see any of the programs that you like linked, you can go on Guild and do start application. And if you want to look more into it, at the bottom left corner, it'll say view syllabus. So like Emily was saying, look into the classes that are involved in it. Think to yourself, wow, does this give me the wow factor? I really want to learn about this. No, I don't want to learn about this. And then assess, and again, reach out to us. We're here to help you, but go ahead and start the application and start getting your transcripts.
But how do you get to the application? So just one last part. Through Walmart One, you should be able to find the access to the benefit. You will, if you haven't signed up yet, you will create an account. If you have signed up, you will enter your email and the password that you created. If you can't figure that out, there's a reset password button.
I think you all can do it.
Yes.
You got this.
Thank you all. Thank you so much.
Thank you for coming.
We look forward to talking with you.
Yes.
Yeah.